Amelia Dawson flew her old salvage ship through the empty space. 20 years of finding abandoned ships had made her tough. Not much surprised her anymore. Her short brown hair was messy and her face had lines from years of hard work. Today she found a Viridian merchant ship floating with no power. No one had answered her calls. The ship looked damaged but worth checking. Might be some good parts to sell, she said to herself as she connected her ship to the abandoned vessel. Amelia put on her spacesuit and took her tools. She carried a small gun too, just in case. Sometimes pirates left traps on ships they attacked. The airlock opened with a hiss and she stepped into the dark ship. The inside was cold and silent. Her flashlight showed broken equipment and signs of a fight. There were dark stains on the floor that looked like blood, but there were no bodies. Strange, Amelia muttered as she moved deeper into the ship. She checked the cargo hold first. It was empty except for some broken containers. Next, she went to the bridge. The ship's controls were damaged and the captain's chair was torn. Amelia found the ship's log and downloaded it to her device. She would check it later to see what happened here. As she turned to leave, she noticed something odd about one wall panel. It didn't match the others perfectly. She ran her hand over it and felt a slight gap. "Hello, what's this?" she said, pulling out a small tool to pry the panel open. Behind it was a hidden compartment, and inside was something Amelia never expected to find. A child. The child wasn't human. Its skin had a light purple color, and its eyes were large with up and down pupils like a cat's. Small crystal-like things stuck out from its temples, glowing soft blue. The child looked about 6 years old and wore torn clothes that once seemed fancy. Amelia put her gun away quickly and knelt down. "Hello there," she said softly. "I'm Amelia. Can you understand me?" The child backed away, pressing against the wall of the small hiding place. Then to Amelia's surprise, it spoke in clear English. "Are you going to sell me like Papa?" the tiny alien princess asked, and Amelia broke down in tears. Amelia hadn't cried in years. But the child's words, full of fear and pain, broke something inside her. She wiped her eyes and took a deep breath. "No, little one," she said. "No one is going to sell you. You're safe now." The child didn't look convinced. Amelia sat down on the floor, trying to look less scary. "What's your name?" she asked. After a long pause, the child answered. "Lyra. That's a pretty name. Are you hungry, Lyra? I have food on my ship." It took 2 hours to get Lyra to leave the hiding place. Amelia talked softly, telling stories about her travels, explaining that she was just a salvage pilot who found old ships. Finally, Lyra stepped out, staying close to the wall and watching Amelia carefully. Back on Amelia's ship, Lyra ate some food while Amelia checked the ship's log she had downloaded. The log was damaged, but she could read parts of it. The ship had been attacked 3 days ago by unknown vessels. The captain had written Umbra ships approaching in the last entry. "Lyra," Amelia said gently, "can you tell me what happened on that ship?" "Who's your papa?" Lyra looked down at her food. "My papa is King Selena of the Pleiades Confederation. We were traveling to meet human leaders." Her voice was small but clear. "Bad ships came, men in black armor. They killed the guards. Papa told me to hide in the special place. He said not to come out no matter what." The Pleiades Confederation? Amelia was shocked. Humans had barely made contact with that civilization. They were known to be advanced and mostly kept to themselves. "Papa fought them," Lyra continued, "but they were too many. I heard him say they were the Umbra Collective. Then I heard..." She stopped, her eyes filling with tears. "I heard him scream. Then it was quiet for a long time until you came." Amelia moved closer and put a hand on Lyra's small shoulder. "I'm so sorry, Lyra. The bad men said they would get good money for me. They said something about my lumina." Lyra touched the crystal formations at her temples. As Amelia was about to ask more questions, her communication system made a loud noise. New messages were coming in. She checked the screen and felt cold fear in her stomach. Someone had posted a bounty notice across all space channels. They were offering a huge reward for the return of an escaped prisoner, matching Lyra's description. The amount was more money than Amelia had seen in her life. The notice came from a group calling themselves the Umbra Collective. It claimed the prisoner was dangerous and needed to be contained. Amelia looked at Lyra, who was still eating quietly. This small, scared child wasn't dangerous. She was a princess who had just lost her father and was being hunted for some reason Amelia didn't understand yet. Without hesitation, Amelia turned off her communication system. She went to her navigation controls and set a course away from regular space routes. For the first time in 20 years, she wasn't heading toward salvage. She was running from hunters. "Where are we going?" Lyra asked, coming to stand beside her. "Somewhere safe," Amelia answered, though she wasn't sure such a place existed. "I have a friend who might help us. Her name is Olivia, and she runs a repair dock on Harmony Station." "Will the bad men find us?" Amelia wanted to lie, to tell Lyra everything would be fine. But she couldn't. "They might try, but I won't let them take you. I promise." As the ship accelerated away from the abandoned vessel, Amelia wondered what she had gotten herself into. She was now protecting an alien princess from powerful enemies she knew nothing about. It was dangerous and probably stupid. But when Lyra fell asleep in the co-pilot's chair, looking so small and vulnerable, Amelia knew she had made the right choice. Whatever these Umbra people wanted with Lyra, they would have to go through her first. Amelia set the ship to autopilot and checked her weapons. She didn't have many, just her small gun and a few tools that could be used to fight if needed. It wouldn't be enough if they were found. Harmony Station is 3 days away, she told herself. Just need to stay hidden until then. As space stretched out before them, Amelia wondered about the crystals on Lyra's temples. What were they for? Why did the Umbra want them? And what would happen when they reached Harmony Station? For now, all she could do was fly fast and stay off the main routes, and hope that Olivia would be willing to help when they arrived. Harmony Station wasn't pretty. It was a collection of domes and buildings built on a small moon. People came here when they didn't want others to find them. It was a place where no one asked questions about your past. Olivia Reeves owned the biggest repair dock on the station. She was tall with dark skin and short black hair that she kept neat despite the messy work. She fixed ships for a living and was known for 3 things: fair prices, good work, and not asking questions. When Amelia's damaged ship arrived at the dock, Olivia was waiting. She watched as the ship landed, noticing the burn marks on its side from weapons fire. "You're in trouble," Olivia said when Amelia walked down the ramp. It wasn't a question. "Need a place to hide," Amelia replied. "And new ID codes for my ship." Olivia raised an eyebrow. "That's expensive. And risky. What did you do?" "I found something, Liv," Amelia said quietly. "Something that changes everything we thought we knew about the Pleiades Confederation." Olivia was about to ask more when she noticed movement behind Amelia. A small purple face peeked around Amelia's legs, large eyes watching carefully. "Sweet mercy," Olivia whispered. This is Lyra," Amelia said. "And we need your help." Olivia looked around quickly to make sure no one had seen them. "Get inside, both of you, now." She led them through the repair dock to a small living space in the back. It was simple but clean, with a table, chairs, and a cooking area. Olivia closed the door and turned to face them. "Explain," she said. Amelia told her everything. Finding the abandoned ship, discovering Lyra, learning about the Umbra Collective, and the bounty. Olivia listened without interrupting, her face growing more serious. "The Pleiades Confederation doesn't deal with humans much," Olivia said when Amelia finished. "Why was the king coming to meet with our leaders?" "He wanted to warn them," Lyra said, speaking up for the first time. Both women turned to look at her. "The Umbra are getting stronger. They want the Lumina." She touched the crystal formations at her temples. "What are those exactly?" Olivia asked, kneeling to look at them more closely. "They connect us to our ships," Lyra explained. "The royal family of Pleiades has them. We can control the ancient ships with our minds." Olivia and Amelia shared a look. That kind of technology was far beyond what humans had developed. "That's why they want you," Amelia said. "To control your ships," Lyra shook her head. "Not just our ships. The ancient defense grid, too. Only my family can activate it. That's why they're hunting us." "Hunting us?" Olivia asked. "There are more of you?" "My mother, the queen. And others. The Umbra have been killing my family one by one." Lyra's voice was sad but steady, as if she had accepted this terrible truth. Olivia stood up. "You'll stay here. I'll work on new ID codes for your ship, Amelia, and I'll check if anyone is looking for you on the station." For the next week, they lived in Olivia's back room. Lyra slowly became less afraid. She began to talk more, telling them about her home and her people. The Lumina, she explained, weren't just decorations. They were living organisms that bonded with Pleiadian royalty when they were born. The bond let them connect with their ships and share thoughts with each other. The Umbra found a way to use the Lumina for themselves. Lyra said one night as they ate dinner. They take them from us and use them to control our technology. But it doesn't work right for them. It hurts the Lumina. Amelia noticed that Lyra's crystals sometimes glowed brighter when she was excited or scared. They seemed to respond to her emotions. Olivia worked day and night on Amelia's ship, giving it new paint and changing its ID codes. No one would recognize it now. But just as they were preparing to leave, trouble found them. Ships just entered orbit, Olivia said, rushing into the room one morning. Umbra scouts. They're scanning the station. Amelia grabbed her gun. How did they find us? Doesn't matter. We need to leave now. Olivia began packing supplies, but not in your ship. They'll be watching all vessels leaving the station. Then how do we get out? Amelia asked. Olivia smiled for the first time in days. I never told you everything about my past, Amelia. I used to design ships for the military. She led them through a hidden door in the back of her living space. It opened to a tunnel that went deep into the moon. They walked for what seemed like hours, following the dim lights along the tunnel walls. Finally, they reached a large cave. Inside was a ship unlike any Amelia had seen before. It was sleek and black with no visible engines or weapons. What is that? Amelia asked. The Phantom, Olivia said with pride. My design. The military thought it was too dangerous. Too unpredictable. Will it fly? Amelia asked, looking doubtful. It'll do more than that, Olivia replied. It'll disappear. As they loaded supplies onto the strange ship, Olivia explained that the Phantom used experimental technology to bend light around itself, making it nearly invisible to sensors and even to the eye. It can't stay hidden forever, she warned. The power cells can only maintain the cloak for a few hours at a time. But it should be enough to get us away from here. Us? Amelia asked. You're coming with us? Olivia nodded. They saw me helping you. I can't stay here now. Lyra had been quiet, staring at the Phantom. Now she stepped forward and placed a small hand on the ship's hull. Her lumina began to glow brighter. It feels alive, she said. Different from our ships, but alive. The systems are partly organic, Olivia explained. Grown rather than built. It's what makes the cloaking technology possible. They boarded the Phantom quickly. The inside was cramped but efficient, with 3 seats in the control room and a small living area behind it. Olivia took the pilot's seat and began the startup sequence. Where are we going? Amelia asked, helping Lyra into one of the other seats. I know someone who might help us understand what's happening, Olivia said. An old colleague named Eleanor. She studies ancient technology in the Veil Nebula. The Veil? Amelia was surprised. No one goes there. The radiation makes navigation impossible. Eleanor found a way, Olivia said as the ship hummed to life. She's been hiding there for 20 years. The ceiling of the cave began to open, revealing the stars above. At the same time, alarms sounded throughout the station. The Umbra had begun their search. Hold on, Olivia said, activating the main controls. The Phantom rose silently, its surface rippling like water before seeming to fade away. Cloak is active. Let's hope it works as well as it did in the tests. They shot up through the opening and into space. Below them, Umbra ships were landing at the main port of Harmony Station. Soldiers in black armor were already moving through the streets. They won't find anything, Olivia said. I wiped all records of you being here. As they left the moon behind, Lyra's lumina suddenly flashed brightly. She gasped and grabbed her head. What's wrong? Amelia asked, worried. I felt something, Lyra said. Someone using the bond. Another royal. Her eyes widened. My mother. She's trying to reach me. Can you talk to her? Olivia asked, keeping her eyes on the controls. Lyra closed her eyes, her face tight with concentration. The lumina pulsed with light. After a moment, she opened her eyes again. She's alive, she said, but in danger. The Umbra are attacking our home, she says. She says to find the lost fleet. It's our only hope. The lost fleet? Amelia asked. What's that? Ancient ships, Lyra explained. From before my people's great war. They disappeared long ago. Olivia and Amelia looked at each other. Neither knew what to make of this. Does your mother know where these ships are? Olivia asked. Lyra shook her head. No, but she thinks your friend might. The one who studies old things? Eleanor? Olivia seemed surprised. Why would she know about Pleiadian ships? Because, Lyra said, my mother says humans found some of our artifacts years ago. They didn't know what they were. Maybe your friend has seen them. The Phantom continued through space, invisible to the Umbra ships now racing away from Harmony Station. Their destination, the Veil Nebula, was 3 days away at their best speed. "We should rest," Amelia suggested. "Take turns watching the controls." As Lyra curled up to sleep in one of the bunks, Amelia sat with Olivia in the control room. "You think your friend will help us?" she asked quietly. "Eleanor has been hiding from everyone for 2 decades, Olivia replied. "She doesn't trust easily. But if anyone knows about ancient technology, it's her." Amelia looked back at the sleeping child. "I never thought I'd be involved in something like this. I'm just a salvage pilot. And I'm just a mechanic," Olivia said with a small smile. "Yet here we are, running from the Umbra Collective with an alien princess. Why are you helping us?" Amelia asked. "You could have turned us away." Olivia was quiet for a moment. "Because 20 years ago I built weapons that hurt people. Now I have a chance to protect someone instead." She looked at Amelia. "Why are you helping her?" Amelia thought of the moment when Lyra had asked if she would sell her. "Because someone needs to." The journey to the Pleiades Confederation took 7 days. 7 long days during which Amelia learned more about the universe than humans had discovered in centuries of space travel. The neural connection with Lyra had changed something in Amelia's mind. She could still feel echoes of the link, still see flashes of ancient memories that weren't her own. Eleanor said it might be permanent, a side effect of connecting with the Pleiadian technology. "The Lumina created pathways in your brain that weren't there before," Eleanor explained, as she examined Amelia in the station's medical room. The station itself was now inside one of the arcs, protected as they traveled through jump space. "Is that dangerous?" Amelia asked, touching her temples where she sometimes felt phantom pains. "I don't know," Eleanor admitted. "No human has ever bonded with Pleiadian technology like this before." Lyra spent most of her time in the control chamber of the lead arc, communing with the ancient ships. Through her, they learned more about the Pleiadians and their enemies. "The Umbra were once like us," she explained one evening as they all gathered to eat, living beings with bodies and homes. "But long ago they found a way to transfer their minds into machines. They became artificial intelligence," Olivia asked. Lyra shook her head. "Not artificial. Real minds in unreal bodies. They don't die. They don't change. They just exist, moving from one machine to another when needed." "Why are they fighting your people?" Amelia asked. "Because we refused to join them," Lyra said simply. "Long ago they offered to save us by making us like them. My ancestors said no. They believed in living real lives, even if those lives include pain and death." Eleanor nodded. "A philosophical war. Those are often the most brutal." "The Umbra can't understand why we choose to remain as we are," Lyra continued. "They see it as wasteful, primitive. They want to fix us. By harvesting your lumina," Amelia said, understanding more now. "They want the connection to your technology without having to live in real bodies." "Yes, the lumina only grow in living Pleiadians. The Umbra can use them once they're removed, but they can't grow new ones. That's why they hunt us, why they've nearly wiped out the royal family." On the 7th day, they prepared to leave jump space. The arcs would emerge near Seleno Prime, the Pleiadian homeworld. None of them knew what they would find. "The Umbra have been attacking for months," Lyra said, her young face looking tired and old. "My mother has been holding them back alone, maintaining the defense grid. But her strength may be failing. Can these arcs make a difference?" Amelia asked. "They must," Lyra replied. "They carry the purifier." "The what?" Olivia asked. "A weapon designed long ago," Eleanor answered before Lyra could. "I found references to it in the Ark's data systems. It can separate the Umbra consciousness from their technology, forcing them back into physical form. That would make them vulnerable," Olivia realized. "They could be defeated, or saved," Lyra added quietly. "Given real lives again." The moment of emergence from jump space was like breaking through a wall. The Ark shuddered as they returned to normal space. Immediately, they saw the battle raging around Seleno Prime. The planet was beautiful, with swirling blue and purple continents and crystal cities that glittered even from space. But it was surrounded by ships locked in combat. Energy weapons flashed across the void. Debris from destroyed vessels drifted everywhere. "The palace," Lyra said, pointing to a large structure on the surface. It was surrounded by a dome of energy, but the dome was flickering, growing weaker. "My mother is there." The Ark's arrival caused an immediate reaction. Ships throughout the system paused in their battles. Then a message went out across all communication channels. Lyra's voice, broadcast from the lead arc, filled the system. I am Princess Lyra, daughter of King Seleno, rightful heir to the throne of stars. I have returned with the lost fleet and allies from beyond the veil. Stand with me now. The response was immediate and surprising. Ships that had been fighting alongside the Umbra suddenly turned, firing on their former allies. The planetary defense grid, which had been weakening, pulsed with renewed energy. Sleeper agents, Eleanor said, watching the tactical displays. The Umbra had infiltrators in the Pleiadian fleet. No, Lyra corrected her. Those are my people breaking free from Umbra control. The lumina that connect us to our ships, the Umbra found a way to corrupt them, to control the bonded. The arcs moved into formation around the planet, their ancient weapons engaging the Umbra vessels. The battle was unlike anything Amelia had ever seen. The arcs didn't just fire weapons. They manipulated space itself, creating barriers that absorbed energy and gravity wells that trapped enemy ships. We need to get to the surface, Lyra said. To the palace. My mother can't hold the defense grid much longer. How? Olivia asked. We can't take the arcs down. They're too large. The Phantom, Eleanor suggested. It's still in the hangar bay. With its cloaking technology, we might be able to slip through the battle. Amelia felt a change in the neural connection she shared with Lyra. The princess was withdrawing, pulling away from the shared consciousness. What are you doing? Amelia asked, panic rising. What I must, Lyra replied, to end this forever. They rushed to prepare the Phantom for the dangerous flight to the surface. Olivia checked the engines while Eleanor gathered equipment they might need. Amelia stayed with Lyra in the control chamber of the lead arc. I don't understand what you're planning, Amelia said. Lyra looked up at her, suddenly seeming older than her years. The purifier needs a catalyst, a consciousness that can direct it, focus it where it's needed. Amelia felt cold. You mean someone has to guide it? Someone with lumina? Yes. Then I'll do it with you, Amelia said immediately. Like we did to wake the arcs? Lyra shook her head. This is different. The purifier doesn't just need a guide. It needs fuel. Fuel? What kind of fuel? Lyra touched her lumina. Living energy. The same energy that lets us bond with our ships, Amelia understood then. It will take your life. Perhaps, Lyra said. Or perhaps it will just change me. The ancient texts aren't clear. No, Amelia said firmly. We'll find another way. There is no other way, Lyra replied. And there's no time to argue. Look. On the displays they could see the palace dome flickering more rapidly. In some places it was already failing. Umbra ground forces were beginning to land. My mother is dying, Lyra said. The effort of maintaining the grid is killing her. If she falls, the Umbra will take control of our entire defense system. Not just here, but throughout our territory. The Phantom was ready within an hour. The four of them boarded with Olivia at the controls. The small ship slipped out of the Ark's hangar bay, its cloaking system immediately activating. Stay close to the larger debris fields, Eleanor advised as they descended toward the planet. It will help mask any sensor readings that get through the cloak. The flight to the surface was tense. Twice they had to stop completely, hovering motionless as Umbra ships passed nearby. But eventually they reached the palace and found a landing spot in a garden area where the dome had already failed. The palace was beautiful even in its damaged state. Tall spires of crystal and metal reached toward the sky. The walls seemed to be alive, pulsing with soft light. But there were signs of battle everywhere. Broken structures, burn marks from weapons. Bodies of guards who had fallen defending their home. Lyra led them through hidden passages that only the royal family knew about. They encountered no resistance, which worried Amelia. It's too easy, she whispered to Olivia. Where are the Umbra forces? Concentrated on the main entrances, probably, Olivia replied, but she kept her hand near her weapon. Finally, they reached the heart of the palace, the crystal chambers beneath the throne room. Here, the walls were made entirely of the same crystal material as Lyra's lumina, glowing with blue light that pulsed like a heartbeat. In the center of the main chamber, they found Queen Alara. She was taller than Lyra but had the same lavender skin and large eyes. Her lumina were much larger. Spreading across her temples and into her hairline, she sat on a crystal throne, her hands placed on two orbs that glowed with intense light. She looked exhausted, her face lined with pain. When she saw Lyra, her eyes filled with tears of joy and disbelief. "My daughter," she whispered. "You returned." "With help," Lyra said, looking up at Amelia with a smile that pierced her heart. The reunion was brief. The Queen could not leave her position without dropping the defense grid entirely. "The Umbra forces have breached the outer walls," she told them. "Their main vessel hovers above the palace now. If they take control of this chamber, they will have access to all our systems." "The Arcs are fighting in orbit," Lyra said. "They've bought us time." "The Lost Fleet," Queen Alara said in wonder. So the legends were true. "Mother, I know about the purifier," Lyra said, stepping closer to the throne. "I know how to use it," the Queen's face filled with sorrow. "No, Lyra, the cost is too great." "What is the purifier exactly?" Amelia asked. Queen Alara looked at the humans with surprise, as if just noticing them. "You brought allies from Earth," she said to Lyra. "Brave. To stand with us when this is not their fight." "It became our fight when they started hunting Lyra," Amelia said firmly. The Queen studied her for a moment. "You have been joined with the Lumina," she said. "I can see the traces in your mind." The Veil Nebula spread across space like a colorful cloud. Dust and gas made strange shapes in the darkness. Most ships avoided this place. The radiation confused navigation systems, and strange energy waves could damage engines. It was the perfect hiding place for someone who didn't want to be found. After 3 days of travel in the Phantom, they reached the edge of the nebula. As soon as they entered the colorful cloud, small drone ships surrounded them. The drones were armed with weapons pointed at their ship. "State your business," a woman's voice came through the communication system. She sounded angry and suspicious. "Eleanor, it's Olivia Reeves," Olivia answered calmly. "Protocol Sierra 9 Echo." There was a long silence. Then, "I never thought I'd hear that code again." "You must be desperate to come here." The drones moved aside, making a path for them to follow. Olivia guided the Phantom deeper into the nebula, following a series of small beacons that appeared ahead of them. "What's Protocol Sierra 9 Echo?" Amelia asked quietly. "Emergency code," Olivia explained. "From our days working together. It means I need help, and I've brought people I trust." After an hour of careful flying, they saw something amazing. Huge ships, ancient and strange, hung in space in a circle formation. They were unlike any ships Amelia had seen before. Their hulls were covered with markings similar to the lumina crystals on Lyra's temples. In the middle of the circle was a small station, built from parts of different ships and structures. It glowed with lights, the only bright thing in this part of the nebula. "Pleiadian arcs," Lyra whispered, pressing her face to the window. Her lumina glowed brighter than ever. "The Lost Fleet, they're really here." They docked with the station carefully. When the airlock opened, a woman stood waiting for them. Eleanor Kincaid was shorter than Amelia had expected, with gray hair tied back in a tight bun. Her face was lined with age, but her eyes were sharp and clear. She wore a practical jumpsuit with many pockets full of tools. "Olivia," she said with a nod. "It's been a long time." "Too long," Olivia agreed. "This is Amelia Dawson and a Pleiadian child," Eleanor interrupted, her eyes fixed on Lyra. "With Royal Lumina." She knelt down to look at Lyra more closely. "Who are you, little one?" "I am Princess Lyra, daughter of King Seleno and Queen Alara of the Pleiades Confederation," Lyra said formally. She stood straighter, suddenly looking more like royalty despite her small size and simple clothes. Eleanor's eyes widened. "The heir to the throne of stars here in my station." She stood up and looked at Olivia. "You've brought trouble with you." "We didn't know where else to go," Olivia said. "The Umbra Collective is hunting her." "The Umbra." Eleanor's face darkened. "Come inside. We have much to discuss." Eleanor's station was filled with technology and artifacts from many different worlds. Screens showed the ancient ships outside and the space around them. In the main room, a large table displayed a 3D map of the galaxy. "I've been studying the Arcs for decades," Eleanor explained as they sat around the table, trying to understand their technology. "How did you find them?" Amelia asked. "I didn't. They found me." Eleanor touched a control and the map zoomed in on the nebula. 20 years ago, I was researching unusual energy signatures in this region. My ship was damaged by radiation. I thought I would die here. Then the Arcs appeared. They pulled my ship to safety and helped me build the station. Lyra walked to one of the windows, looking out at the ancient ships. These are from before the Sundering. When my ancestors fled the darkness, Eleanor nodded. Your people didn't just flee the darkness, little one. They were fighting it, and I think it's found them again. She touched more controls, and the map changed to show recent ship movements across several star systems. Red dots represented Umbra ships, and they were converging on the Pleiades Confederation. I monitor communications and ship traffic, Eleanor explained. The Umbra have been gathering their forces for months, more ships than anyone knew they had. They've been planning this for generations, she continued grimly. The Umbra aren't just mercenaries or pirates. They're what remains of an ancient force that nearly wiped out the Pleiadians before. What do they want? Amelia asked. Control, Eleanor said simply. The Pleiadian technology is the most advanced in known space, especially their neural interface system. She gestured to Lyra's lumina. Those crystals are the key. They allow direct communication between mind and machine. Lyra nodded. Only the royal family can control the most powerful systems. Like the defense grid that protects our home? And the Arcs, Eleanor added. These ships have been dormant for centuries. Their power systems are minimal, just enough to maintain basic functions. But if they were fully activated, could they help fight the Umbra? Amelia asked, looking at the massive ships outside. They could do more than fight, Eleanor said. They could end the threat forever. But activating them requires a royal with fully developed lumina. Everyone looked at Lyra. Her crystals glowed softly, but they were small compared to the images of adult Pleiadians that Eleanor showed them. I can wake them, Lyra said suddenly, but I need help. The bond requires strength I don't have alone. Amelia took her hand without hesitation. Whatever you need, Princess. We're with you. Eleanor looked concerned. The neural interface wasn't designed for human minds. It could be dangerous. More dangerous than letting the Umbra win? Amelia asked. Before Eleanor could answer, alarms sounded throughout the station. One of the screens showed ships appearing at the edge of the nebula. Umbra vessels, Eleanor said, checking the readings. Dozens of them. How did they find us? They must have tracked us somehow, Olivia said, rushing to another screen. But the Phantom was cloaked. Lyra's face went pale. It's me. They can sense my lumina when I use it. When I reached out to my mother, they followed the signal, Eleanor finished. Clever. We don't have much time. Amelia looked at the approaching ships, then at the dormant arcs. How do we wake these ships? Eleanor led them quickly to another part of the station. It was a circular room with a platform in the center. Strange devices hung from the ceiling, pointing at the platform. This is the interface chamber, she explained. I built it to study the Arc systems. It can connect to their control network. Lyra stepped onto the platform without being told. She looked small standing there alone. What do we do? Amelia asked. Lyra will establish the primary connection, Eleanor said, working at a control panel. Then if you're sure, you can join her on the platform. The system will try to create a shared bond between you. Will it hurt? Amelia tried to sound brave, but she was scared. Yes, Eleanor said honestly. The human brain isn't designed for this kind of connection. The station shook as the first Umbra ships entered weapons range. Explosions flashed outside the windows. We're out of time, Olivia said, moving to another control panel. The station's shields won't hold long. Lyra stood tall on the platform, her lumina beginning to glow brighter. I'm ready. Eleanor activated the interface. Beams of light from the ceiling devices surrounded Lyra. Her crystals flared with blue fire, and she gasped. The light spread from her lumina, forming patterns in the air that matched the markings on the arcs outside. It's working, Eleanor said, watching the readings. She's connected to the primary systems. Amelia, if you're going to help her, it has to be now. Amelia took a deep breath and stepped onto the platform beside Lyra. The child turned to her, eyes glowing with the same blue light as her lumina. It will be easier if you kneel, Lyra said, her voice echoing strangely. So I can reach you. Amelia knelt. Lyra placed her small hands on Amelia's temples. The pain was immediate and overwhelming. It felt like her mind was being torn apart. She screamed but couldn't move away. Through the agony, images flashed in Amelia's mind. She saw a war that crossed galaxies, great civilizations rising and falling, and always the darkness that hunted the Pleiadians across the stars. She saw the arcs being built, incredible ships powered by thought and will. She saw them fighting a losing battle against an enemy that couldn't be killed, only pushed back. The station shook again, harder this time. Eleanor shouted something, but Amelia couldn't understand the words. The pain was too great, then suddenly the pain changed. It was still there, but now it had a purpose. Amelia felt Lyra's mind guiding hers, showing her how to extend her thoughts beyond her body. Together, their consciousness reached out to the dormant ships. Ancient systems began to respond. Engines that had been silent for centuries hummed to life. Weapons powered up. Shields formed around the massive vessels. Outside, the arcs began to move. Their surfaces lit up with patterns of blue light, matching the glow of Lyra's lumina. They shifted position, forming a protective barrier around Eleanor's station. The Umbra ships attacked with everything they had, but the Ark's shields absorbed the energy. The ancient vessels responded with weapons that defied understanding. Not beams or projectiles, but waves of force that pushed the enemy ships back. In the interface chamber, Amelia fought to maintain the connection. Her body was shaking and she tasted blood in her mouth, but she refused to let go. Through the bond, she felt Lyra's determination and courage. "Hold on," Lyra's voice echoed in her mind. "Just a little longer." The days following the activation of the purifier were chaotic. The wave of crystalline light had spread across the entire Pleiades system and beyond, reaching every place the Umbra had touched. The effect was immediate and stunning. Umbra ships stopped fighting. Some drifted powerless in space. Others landed on nearby planets. From these vessels came confused beings, physical forms that had once been Umbra, now forced back into living bodies after centuries as machine consciousness. "They don't remember how to be alive," Queen Alara explained as she and Amelia watched the reports coming in. "They've been machines for so long they've forgotten what it means to breathe, to eat, to feel." The Queen had recovered some of her strength since Lyra had merged with the heart of Seleno. The defense grid now ran on the power of the heart itself, no longer draining her energy. "What will happen to them?" Amelia asked, watching images of former Umbra being helped by Pleiadian medical teams. "We will teach them," the Queen said simply, "just as we would teach any lost child." Amelia thought of Lyra then, as she often did. The neural connection was still there, but different now. Sometimes she caught whispers of thought, feelings that weren't her own. Sometimes when she was near the heart chamber, she felt a presence that seemed to recognize her. "She's still here, isn't she?" Amelia asked. "In some way?" Queen Alara nodded. "The heart doesn't destroy. It transforms. Lyra's consciousness has become part of the collective awareness of our people. But her individual self, her soul, if you will, remains intact within the heart." A week after the purifier wave, Queen Alara called for a formal gathering. Representatives from all Pleiadian worlds attended, as well as delegates from the human colonies nearest to their territory. Amelia, Olivia, and Eleanor were given places of honor beside the Queen. The Pleiadian Confederation recognizes humanity as allies and friends from this day forward, Queen Alara announced to the assembly. "These 3 humans brought our princess home and stood with us when they could have turned away. The bond between our peoples is now sealed in shared sacrifice." There was more to the ceremony: formal treaties, promises of shared technology and knowledge, plans for joint defense against any future threats. But Amelia found it hard to focus. Her mind kept returning to the heart chamber, to the moment when Lyra had stepped into the light. That night, unable to sleep in the lavish guest quarters she had been given, Amelia wandered the palace halls. Without conscious decision, her feet took her to the heart chamber. The guards recognized her and let her pass without question. The massive crystal formation at the center of the chamber glowed softly in the darkness. Amelia sat on the floor before it, looking up at its towering presence. "I miss you," she said quietly. "I know you're still here somehow, but I miss seeing your face, hearing your voice." For a long moment, there was only silence. Then slowly, a soft blue glow appeared beside her. It gathered and coalesced, forming the transparent outline of a small girl with a familiar smile. "I told you I wouldn't be gone," Lyra's voice echoed, both in the air and in Amelia's mind. "Are you real?" Amelia asked, reaching out but feeling nothing solid. "I am the guardian of the heart now," Lyra explained. "I exist differently, but I am still me." "And we're still us?" Amelia asked, hope rising in her chest. The spectral child nodded, her smile brightening the darkness around them. "Family," she said. "Not by blood, but by choice. The strongest kind." In the weeks that followed, as the Pleiades Confederation began to rebuild, plans were made for the future. The ancient arcs would fly again, this time with combined crews of humans and Pleiadians. They would explore the galaxy together, learning from each other. Eleanor was asked to lead a joint scientific initiative. Her years of studying the arcs had given her unique insights into Pleiadian technology. With their help, she would develop new systems that combined the best of both civilizations. "Think of what we can learn from each other," she told Amelia excitedly. "Their neural interfaces are adaptability. Together, we could create something entirely new." Olivia found her place designing ships for the new combined fleet. Her experience with the Phantom's cloaking technology proved valuable to the Pleiadians, who had focused more on defense than stealth. "We balance each other," she said as she showed Amelia her latest designs. "Humans push forward quickly, sometimes too quickly. Pleiadians consider all possibilities, sometimes for too long. Together we find the right pace." As for Amelia, Queen Alara offered her a new role, Earth's first ambassador to the Pleiadian Confederation. "You understand us better than any human," the Queen said. "The neural connection you shared with Lyra gave you insights few others could have, and my daughter trusts you completely." Lyra's spectral form appeared more frequently as time passed. She could manifest anywhere the heart's influence reached, which now included most of Pleiadian space. She became Amelia's constant companion, advising her on Pleiadian customs and helping her navigate the complex politics of her new role. "Can everyone see you?" Amelia asked one day as they walked through a crowded market on Seleno Prime. No one seemed to notice the glowing child floating beside her. "Only those I choose," Lyra replied. "Only those who need to." The transformation of the former Umbra continued. Many struggled to accept their new physical existence. Some refused help, retreating to isolated colonies where they could seek their own path. But others embraced the change, finding joy in sensations and emotions they had forgotten centuries ago. "They're learning to live again," Lyra observed as they watched a group of former Umbra experiencing rain for the first time, their faces turned up to the sky in wonder. "Just as I'm learning to exist in this new form." 6 months after the Purifier Wave, a ceremony was held to commission the first joint human Pleiadian exploration vessel. Built using technology from both worlds, it represented the beginning of a new era of cooperation. The ship was named Heart's Light, in honor of Lyra's sacrifice. Amelia was asked to speak at the commissioning. Standing before the assembled dignitaries, with Lyra's glowing form visible only to her at her side, Amelia felt a wave of emotion. "6 months ago, I was just a salvage pilot looking for abandoned ships," she began. "I never expected to find a princess or to become part of a war that had been raging since before humans left their home planet. I certainly never expected to be standing here today." She looked out at the faces before her, human and Pleiadian, and even a few former Umbra who had chosen to join the new society. "But that's the beauty of life," she continued. "It surprises us. It challenges us. It forces us to grow in ways we never imagined. The Umbra thought they could escape that by becoming machines. They thought they could control everything, predict everything. But in doing so, they lost the very thing that makes existence meaningful, the chance to be surprised, to change, to form bonds with others that transform us." Lyra's spectral hand touched hers, sending a tingle of energy up her arm. "A small princess taught me that family isn't just about blood," Amelia said, her voice growing stronger. "It's about choice, about standing together when it would be easier to walk away. The Pleiadians and humans are not related by birth or evolution. We come from different stars, different histories. But today we choose to be family. We choose to face the future together." As the Heart's Light lifted off on its maiden voyage a week later, Amelia stood in the observation deck, watching Seleno Prime shrink in the distance. Lyra appeared beside her, her glowing form casting blue light across the viewing window. "Where will we go first?" Amelia asked. "Everywhere," Lyra replied with a smile. "We have the whole galaxy to explore." "Together," Amelia said. "Always," Lyra agreed. "That's what family means." As the ship entered jump space, Amelia felt the neural connection to Lyra strengthen. Through it, she sensed not just the princess, but echoes of the entire Pleiadian collective, millions of minds linked by the heart of Kaleno, now reaching out to include humanity in their ancient network. And somewhere in that vast web of consciousness, she felt something new being born. Not Pleiadian, not human, but a blending of both. The future, taking shape one connection at a time. The Heart's light emerged from jump space near a star system that had never been explored by either humans or Pleiadians. New worlds circled a golden sun waiting to be discovered. Ready? Lyra asked, her spectral form glowing brighter with excitement. Amelia nodded, feeling the same thrill of discovery that had first drawn her to salvage work long ago. But this was better. This wasn't about finding abandoned things from the past. This was about building something new for the future. Ready, she confirmed. Let's see what's out there. As the Heart's light moved toward the unexplored planets, Amelia thought about how far she had come from the moment she found a frightened child in a hidden compartment. That day, a tiny alien princess had asked her a question that changed everything. Are you going to sell me like Papa? The answer then had been tears. The answer now was family, protection, love. And as they approached the new worlds together, human, Pleiadian, and the beings that existed somewhere in between, Amelia knew that some questions could only be answered with a lifetime of choices. Some bonds could never be broken. Some journeys would never truly end. Lyra's spectral hand found hers once again, and together they faced the light of new stars.